For the 1979 version of the Philadelphia Eagles, the buddy system was still a way to keep from getting lost on a road trip. This team was coached by the emotional Dick Vermeil. A season earlier, he led the Eagles to their first playoff game in 18 years. But Philadelphia had some problems as they readied to face the Dallas Cowboys in this Week 11 contest. First of all, the Eagles had never won a game in Texas Stadium. In fact, Tom Landry's Cowboys had won 21 of their last 23 games against the Eagles, and the team seemed to be moving in different directions. While the 6-4 Eagles had lost their last 3 games, the 8-2 Cowboys had opened up a 2-game lead in the NFC East. And do the names Ditka, Reeves, and Stallings ring familiar notes? All 3 were Dallas assistants in '79. So it's the brain trust versus in Vermeil we trust. America's team doing battle with the up-and-coming Eagles.
When all the proper elements are present, the glittering images of Hollywood's golden era in some way endure in pro football's modern era. The 1979 Dallas Cowboys were firmly entrenched as a glamour team of the NFL, and in borrowing from the best of Hollywood's legacy, this matchup with the Eagles mixed equal parts Busby Berkeley with high noon. The Cowboys under Tom Landry would play the Mark Sheriff to Dick Vermeil's outlaw Philadelphia Eagles, who had come to set things aright for 14 years of hard, unfruitful labor, as the last time the Eagles had won in Dallas was 1965. Following Tony Dorsett's 24-yard scamper, lightning struck the Eagles in the form of a 48-yard bomb from Roger Staubach to wide receiver Tony Hill, number 80. Another look at the scoring play reveals a wall of pass protection enabling Staubach to wait for Hill to break open. Not to be outdone by their offense, Dallas's doomsday defense continued to stir up atmospheric conditions by raining down on Eagles quarterback Ron Jaworski. The severity of the Cowboys' pass rush forced Jaworski to misconnect on his first 4 passes. What was shaping up as a total mismatch was suddenly transformed into a different contest when rookie linebacker Jerry Robinson, number 56, forced Tony Dorsett to cough up the football. In what would later be viewed as the game's turning point, Dorsett's fumble set Philadelphia up with good field position and enabled the Eagles and Jaworski to regroup and shake off a rocky start. Faced with an important third down situation, the Eagle quarterback looked for his money receiver, Harold Carmichael, number 17. Carmichael used all of his 6'8" frame to fight off double coverage for a 16-yard gain. An athlete of impressive stature, Carmichael stood tall in the record books as well, for during the previous week he caught a pass in his 106th consecutive game to set a new NFL record. The lanky 9-year veteran would soon strike again when on a 4th and 1 from the Dallas 32, Jaworski boldly crossed up the Cowboys' short yardage defense. Another look at the scoring play that tied the game at 7 shows Carmichael turning around Cowboy defensive back Cliff Harris, number 43, en route to the end zone. As the first quarter wound to a close, it was now the Eagles' defense that turned the tables and turned up the heat on Roger Staubach. Lacking a foreboding nickname of their own, Philadelphia's generic pass rush proved just as potent, forcing Roger the Dodger to out-dodge himself. As the Eagles' defense continued its bold assault, so too did Jaworski, here being aided by wide receiver Charlie Smith, number 85, whose effort proved just as fearless. But the Eagles quarterback would suffer a temporary setback when on this play, Cowboy defensive end Harvey Martin, number 79, easily overpowered his man, leaving Jaworski on his back and out of the game with an arm injury. Fortunately, his injury appeared more serious than it was. Exit Jaworski, enter Johnny Walton, number 10. And with little delay, the 5-year backup gave a thorough demonstration of the term bench strength. This 29-yard touchdown strike to Charlie Smith gave the Eagles a 14-7 lead with just over a minute to play in the half. A bruised thigh to Roger Staubach forced the Cowboys to call on their backup quarterback, number 11, Danny White. But White couldn't duplicate the success of his counterpart. Number 41, Randy Logan's interception gave the Eagles an unexpected opportunity to increase their lead. And place kicker Tony Franklin came through in a big way with a 59-yard field goal, second longest in NFL history, to close out the first half with the Eagles making good on their resolve to change history. As the second half began, it appeared as if Philadelphia left their passing game in the locker room as Jaworski was still shaking off the effects of his earlier arm injury. Another Eagles player who had been conspicuously subpar was Eagles star running back Wilbert Montgomery, number 31. He had been held by the Cowboys to only 6 yards, but being the complete player he was, Montgomery compensated by excelling in the other facets of the position. However, on this night, Montgomery went from milk wagon to Maserati. This 19-yard burst put him over the 1,000-yard mark for the year, the first Eagle to do so in back-to-back seasons, and sparked him to a 121-yard second-half outburst. As Montgomery was regaining his stride, Jaworski was regaining his touch. This 13-yard touchdown pass to Harold Carmichael increased the Eagles' lead to 24-7. With the Eagles' defense charged with the task of protecting a semi-comfortable third-quarter lead, defensive coordinator Marion Campbell saw fit to remind his squad of Dallas's comeback capabilities, particularly at the hand of Captain Comeback himself, Roger Staubach. And for most of the second half, the Eagles' defense met the challenge. Throughout the third quarter, the Cowboy passing lanes were clogged with green jerseys as Staubach was limited to completing only 2 of 7 passing attempts, while Tony Dorsett was rendered ineffectual as a running threat. But the Cowboys stiffened as well, shutting down Eagle running backs Montgomery and Billy Campfield, number 37, where Dallas could not afford to surrender any more points if they had any hope of pulling the game out. With 6 minutes remaining in the game, that hope took its first step toward reality when Staubach commenced his patented fourth-quarter wizardry. Though the Eagles had been effective defending against Staubach's short to medium-range passes, they were overmatched by Tony Hill's vertical speed. This 75-yard pass to Hill, who had 7 catches for 213 yards and 2 touchdowns, brought the Cowboys closer at 24-14. Soon they would be on the move again when on a crucial fourth down play, Staubach went to Tony Dorsett in the flat. Dorsett's 14-yard run put the Cowboys in Eagle territory with 2 minutes remaining. And on the very next play, Staubach hit his favorite target, Tony Hill, for 20 more. Staubach continued to effectively go to his backs during the hurry-up 2-minute offense, commandeering them into pockets in Philadelphia's defensive backfield. Plays later, he picked their pocket. Number 89, Billy